You are listening to Pharmacy IT and Me, your informatics pharmacist podcast. Today is Friday, February 22nd, 2019, and welcome to another episode of Last Week in Health IT. As with every episode, we start off this one saying that the intent audience for this episode is everybody. So the first news item is ONC's annual report workgroup update. The ONC's report workgroup update was just released on February 20th, 2019, and it gives us a glimpse into what the ONC is focusing on for the future of healthcare IT. Part of the update includes a discussion of a draft of the high-tech annual report for FY18. The ONC identified several target areas. First is interoperability. So this is to allow access, exchange, and use of health information. Second is patient access, to make sure that there's secure access for patients and caregivers to their data. And the third is privacy and security, which is re-emphasizing protection of privacy and security of health IT. And there are other target areas as well that's not listed, but if it becomes a target area, then they will be focusing on it. So seeing that interoperability is on the top of the list to be addressed, it's promising because in the healthcare IT field, though expanding, it's still not progressing as fast as it should be in terms of data exchange. Hopefully, with the focus of interoperability in this report, this will lead the way for more governance in terms of getting a proper framework for data exchange. And for a full report, take a look at the show notes for a full presentation released by the ONC. So the next news item is Kaiser is opening a medical school in 2020 that focuses on virtual reality and data. So Kaiser stated that their medical school in 2020 will have a significant concentration on having physicians be prepared for healthcare in the digital age. This is actually quite honestly pretty good to hear, even though we don't know what the current details of how the program is going to be implementing or integrating this. From my own experience, even just about 5 years ago, I was at a facility that was a teaching hospital, and you would think that the medical residents would all be very tech savvy, but a handful of them were still having trouble with leveraging health IT tools because they went to med school to learn how to be medical practitioners, not expecting to have to learn health IT tools with it. So it would be very interesting to see how this goes and how virtual reality will be incorporated into the learning objectives and how data will play a role when the school opens up. With the rapidly growing amount of health data out there, data analytics and how it integrates into practice will definitely be important to understand for the practice of medicine. And the last piece of news items that I have is Oracle. They're teaming up with Quorum to speed up clinical trials. So before I continue to expand on what this news headline means, you might be wondering what Quorum and Oracle are. So Quorum Review IRB is a streamlined, service-centered, independent ethics and regulatory review, and they are pretty much one of the top players in central IRB. Being that it's an IRB, you can probably guess that this refers to clinical trials and studies. In terms of Oracle, they are a company that probably has one of the most recognizable multi-model database management systems in existence. I would say that most electronic health record systems store their multitudes of data in some sort of relational database that's very similar to Oracle's database. So back to the news item. Oracle's health division, called Health Sciences Gobalto Activate Cloud Service, is one that has been focused on speeding up clinical trials, and they have just announced that they are now integrating it with Quorum's IRB solution. This allows a lot of data exchange that results in time savings and automatic trigger alerts. This is a really great opportunity for them because we have two major services that are very streamlined, finally integrating with each other, hopefully speeding up the entire process of clinical trials. The faster the clinical trials complete, the quicker we can get evidence-based information to drive the future of clinical practice. So that's all the news items I have for this week. But before we go, if you'd like to hear more news about healthcare IT or read about it, you can check out great curated articles on healthcareitnews.com. It's where I go for daily healthcare IT news to keep myself updated on what's going on in that world. Alright, if you like this episode, you guys can subscribe and rate us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or any of your other favorite podcasting services. You can follow us on social media on Twitter or Facebook at PharmacyITme, or our Instagram at Pharmacy Informatics, or emailing us at pharmacyitme@gmail.com. You can also follow me on my personal Twitter account at TonyDowPharmD, and check out our website, pharmacyitme.com, for any podcast updates or occasional blog posts. And also, I wanted to plug a great networking opportunity called Pharmacists Connect. If you are familiar with Microsoft Teams or Slack Workspace, think of it as a large vetted one through Slack. I've met some great colleagues on it, and there's even an informatics space within it as well. You can find out more by visiting pharmacistsconnect.com, which is PHARMACISTSCONNECT.com. Thank you again for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode of Pharmacy IT and Me. And remember, technology is a tool, patient care is the goal.